Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage co-founder, president and CEO of Concordia, Matthew Swift, co-founder and chairman of the board of Concordia, Nicholas Logothetis, and former president of the European Commission, chair of Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, and chair of the 2024 Concordia Europe Initiative, His Excellency José Manuel Durão Barroso.
Thank you very, very much, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to day 2 of our Concordia Europe Summit. Thank you all for joining us last night for the reception and the remarks and interview with General Petraeus. But welcome to the 2024 Concordia Europe Summit. We are so honored to be in such a magnificent city of Porto, a place that I first visited not too long ago and was so impressed by not just, of course, the beauty of the city, but the ingenuity, the entrepreneurship, the transformation that the city is having. And so it's a very great honor to be here. Before I talk about some of the special guests that are with us today, I want to first talk a little bit briefly about the format that we are all about to embark upon. The Europe Summit is led by what we call our Concilium format. And a key objective to that, the reason we kept this summit, I think for those of you that have been to our annual summit in New York, you're used to a summit, 3,500 people from over 92 countries over 3 days covering 8 different subject themes. This one's a little bit different. Our regional summits, and especially our Europe Initiative, is led by the strength of the themes and topics that we cover and the participants that are here with us for this event. And really, we want to encourage 100% participation, and we want to encourage all of you, regardless of your experience, your backgrounds, whether you spend a great deal of time in Europe or this is your first time in Portugal, we want you to participate actively, proactively, engage in conversation with everyone that is participating here. This is a retreat-style format. We have programming for the first half of each day, and then the second half of the day, we will be going all across the city of Porto to different places so that you can see what's happening here, see the opportunity that exists in Portugal and in Porto specifically. So please lean into that. You all are here for a reason, and we're very, very honored that you all are here, but be proactive in your participation over these next 2 days of conversation, dialogue, and important issues that we will cover around the European continent and the role of Europe in a global context. So looking forward to hearing from all of you, for spending time with all of you over the next few days. A few special thank yous that I want to just give before passing to Nick. I want to thank the government of Portugal, and I especially want to thank the city of Porto and the mayor of Porto. Thank you very, very much for your partnership, collaboration. You are a key reason we're here today. It's an honor to have you, so thank you. I also want to thank Charles Michel, the president of the European Council, Elisa Ferreira, the EU Commissioner for Cohesion and Reform, Margarita Chinas, the Vice President for promoting our European way of life at the European Commission, Dr. Majed Al-Ansari, the official spokesperson from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the state of Qatar, Ambassador Kilic, Chief Advisor on National Security and Foreign Policy to the President of Turkey, Svetlana Shikonovsky, leader of the opposition from the Republic of Belarus, and Ambassador Randy Levine, the U.S. Ambassador to Portugal. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
That was some impressive pronunciation, Matt. I will be brief, and I just wanted to welcome everyone again to Porto. We are honored to be here. Talk a little bit about Concordia's approach to convening. We believe that convening is rooted in the power of dialogue, collaboration, and nonpartisanship. What we try to do is bring together leaders from government, business, civil society, and academia, and inspire a setting that welcomes candid discussions. As Matt was saying, we encourage everyone to participate. We're gathering at an important and in some ways, frightening time for the continent, with under 2 weeks until the European parliamentary elections next month, and at least 9 elections in Europe expected to lead to significant policy changes, perhaps, and geopolitical shifts. As Matt said, over the next 2 days, through our Concordia Concilium format, we'll engage in dynamic discussions on key priorities dominating the agenda in Europe: the energy transition, more important than ever, economic growth and competitiveness, and cooperation, peace, and security. Beginning with yesterday's opening session featuring General Petraeus, which I think was very insightful. These topics are pivotal as we navigate the complexities of our current, very complex global landscape. We'll analyze the key pillars dominating many of this year's election: migration, energy, cybersecurity, name just a few. We'll take stock of where we are today and how the sentiment is likely to shape the outcome of these elections. We'll explore how US policy will impact Europe, something going on in November, I think, and the steps needed for the region to boost its economic competitiveness and lead the energy transition. The kinds of conversations that we have will be indicative of some of the outcomes of those elections as we touch on key issues. Against today's tumultuous geopolitical backdrop, the need for collective action and attention is of paramount importance. The format of this summit, featuring closed-door morning sessions and interactive afternoon activities, is designed to foster transparent and impactful discussions. We ask that you remain in the room for the duration of the morning and participate by asking questions at the end of each session. Following this afternoon's lunches, and after some time set aside for leisure, we'll be departing for a winery tour and dinner at Casa Ferinha. Our host, Ali Aslan, will be sharing more details with you today, but I'm looking forward to seeing all of you there as we take a moment to recognize the cultural wonders of this city. I'd like to briefly take a moment to thank the chair of our 2024 summit, President Barroso, good friend of ours, good friend of mine, good friend of Concordia. Thank you for your participation, for contributing your unique expert insight into this. Also to the Portuguese government, and especially to the city of Porto and to the mayor. We are most grateful that you're here and for your partnership. And of course, I want to thank our partners, sponsors, members, and our leadership council who are here, advisors and senior advisors, and last but not least, our board of directors for their ongoing support of the mission. So with that, I'll hand it over to President Barroso, and thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Matt. Bom dia. It's indeed a pleasure to be here. Now I'm representing the native population of this country, not only as chairman of Concordia Europe. It's the second time I assumed this role. Last year we have done it in Madrid, and now we are so proud to do it in Porto, in Portugal. Concordia, for those who are less familiar, is a very interesting organization. It's an organization based on the idea of convening, of organizing meaningful conversations. And we are here with the two founders. They have done a great job. Every year we meet in New York in a conference back-to-back with the General Assembly of the United Nations. There are thousands of people, from the President of the United States to leaders coming from all over the world. Yeah, last year I remember we were in a conversation with President Erdogan from Turkey to in the end of the First Lady Jill Biden to Tony Blair to I hosted also the President of the European Parliament. So it's amazing how Concordia has been able over the years to organize these meaningful conversations at a time when people believe they need to speak and to understand. Because life is changing so fast from a geopolitical, geoeconomic, technological, scientific point of view, that in fact we have to put together these people that are the change makers, or those that are very close to change, to try to help us understand what's going on. Yesterday we had a great session with General Petraeus. I believe what he said about the geopolitical risks, that is today a risk that was dominant. Before, some years ago, when we were meeting business people, there were all kinds of risks: market risk, operational risk, reputational risk, but there was not such geopolitical risk. Today, it's top of mind of all the decision makers in the world. And so, in fact, we are trying to put here in a more or less intimate conversations. The model here in these meetings organized in Concordia, Europe, are for more intimate conversations, for networking, and for 2-3 days to have the opportunity to exchange our views. And that's why I'm delighted that we were able to reunite a very impressive group of people with very different backgrounds, different political parties, different political orientations, people from the state, from the political life, people from the academia, people from the civil society. And I think it's a great group, so I really wish you all the best here in Porto. After me, the mayor of Porto is going to speak, so I'm sure he's not going to say some words about Porto, but let me give you an independent view of Porto. I'm a Portuguese born in Lisbon, although all my family comes from the north part of the country, and this is a great city. This is a city that in Portugal has a tradition of being liberal. Liberal in the European sense. For our conservative friends from the United States, don't be worried. Liberal in the sense of freedom. In fact, when Portugal sometimes was occupied by darker forces here, it was where the freedom spirit was kept in this country. That's the tradition of Porto, a very beautiful city, a city of hard work and entrepreneurship. So it's a pleasure for me to now introduce Rui Moreira, the mayor of Porto. Besides being a friend, he is the mayor of Porto. He is now in his third mandate. That will be the last, because in Portugal you cannot be more than 3 mandates as mayor. And he has a very interesting quality. He does not belong to any party. In Portugal, most mayors are elected with their party. And Rui comes from the civil society. He's been a business leader, an entrepreneur, and also a leader in the civil society, in sports, in social organizations. And with his own personal prestige, he was able to build a platform. It was not very good for my party, because my party lost. But in fact, I can say I think that it's more or less of my party, but running as independent. So it's indeed a great pleasure to introduce and to ask him to take the floor, Rui Moreira, the mayor of Porto. Thank you very much.